The legendary hero is dead. We see that 3 years have passed since Sion, the legendary hero, sealed the gates of hell. But somehow the demons have returned. 3 months later, in the central continent, southeastern village of Cheza, in Unremarkable Villager, a boy named Touka Scott is seen. He picked a radish from the field and said, "What a gorgeous radish! A radish who really does have the perfect figure. I hereby dubs you Catherine. Now, let's dress it up real nice." At that moment, his childhood friend Eunice comes and says, "Touka, what are you doing?" Touka turned around and was surprised to see Yuna, saying, "Yuna?" Then he says he is just harvesting radishes. Yuna asks, "So why are you putting a stocking on it?" The people around them began to listen to their conversation with attention. Touka says to Yuna that upon finding a radish shaped like the perfect thigh, any man would feel compelled to put a stocking on it. Hearing this, Yuna got angry and said that he was the only pervert who would do that. People around were shocked to hear it. After that, Yuna says that, to be honest, when he's not lazing around, he's doing gross stuff like that. Why'd she have to be childhood friends with someone like him? Hearing this, Touka says, "What?" Yuna says that the legendary hero is their age and he managed to save the whole world. Touka says, yes. Legendary hero this, legendary hero that. He's all the people talk about, but the sacred sword could have chosen anyone. What does she know? Besides, his seal didn't hold up for long, and now the devils are back on the loose. After that, Yuna says that's why he's traveling far and wide to slay them all. Touka in response says to Yuna that cleaning up after herself isn't heroic, but Touka doesn't care what happens far and wide as long as his own house and field are safe. Yuna sat down after hearing this. Touka also says that, and of course she too, Yuna. In response, Yuna says, "What's that supposed to mean?" Touka looked at Yuna seductively and thought that she might be a mean old nag, but she's got perfect proportions, especially those thighs, those freaking luscious thighs. Thinking about it, he came close to Yuna's lap and tried to grab Yuna's thighs. Then Yuna kicked Touka's chest and said, "The hell are you doing?" Touka apologizes for his bad behavior. Then Yuna stands up and says that the entire world's in peril, but that's still all he thinks about. She also said that the devils could even attack here. Does he know? Touka stood up from sitting and said that he is prepared for that. Touka then shows Yuna a bamboo trap and says, "Behold this brilliant trap. It will skewer any devils that enter this field." Yuna says, "That's so stupid," and leaves. Touka's disappointed and says, "Why she always gotta take him down a peg?" Then he was going away. That's when he heard Yuna scream. He looks back and sees a demon saying, "I love humans. I eat humans." The people are running and shouting, "Devil! Devil attack!" Yuna runs and falls to the ground and turns to see the demon behind her. She asks the demon to stay away, but the demon says that, "Human, woman, looks tasty." Standing behind the tree, Touka calls out to Yuna and wonders what he can do. He needs Yuna for his future plan and must rescue Yuna somehow now. Touka then grills a large piece of meat on the stove and says to the devil, "Oh, Mr. Devil, he got some tasty meat grilling here," and think that even a devil has to prefer a well-browned cut of juicy pork. That's it. "Come on over here," and fall right into my brilliant trap. But the devil says, "Gross, he hates pork." Touka thinks that pork isn't going to do the job. Crap! And looking at Yuna, that expression screams, "Why are you grilling when she's in danger?" Damn, that's all. He will have to step in. "Get away from her!" And he lifted the axe to attack. The legendary hero comes in like a storm and destroys the devil and asks whether he's okay. This is where the legendary hero Sion Braden enters. Everyone came to him and said that the legendary hero saved them. Yuna then thanked the legendary hero. The legendary hero says that he is glad to see Yuna safe. Yuna asks him if he remembers her. Sion says that absolutely. It has been 3 whole years. Then Sion asks Yuna if she's okay. Touka then thinks about how he forgot that this jerk had saved Yuna 3 years ago. Yuna says that she is so delighted and added that she was sure he'd forgotten her. In reply, Sion says that the delight's all his since he sees her happy again. He just loves her smile, she knows. Hearing this, Touka was disappointed, and hearing this, Yuna was blushing and said that, "Oh, the legendary hero." On the other hand, Touka's mood was getting worse and saying he just loves her smile. Did he say that? And added that this piece of shit hero is one smooth talker, and Yuna's lapping it up. He then calls out to Yuna and says that he was also trying to save, but Yuna angrily called him a scumbag and said to stay out of this, and asked him to go back to his one-man barbecue. Touka says in his mind, what's with the total 180? And to think that he likes her better smiling too, she knows. Touka also thinks that after 3 years, Yuna was finally warming up to him. This is all the fault of the hero. Just then, a loud noise was heard. The people around said, "What's that sound? Another devil?" After that, Sion apologized and said he was afraid that his stomach was rumbling. Hearing this, everyone was shocked, and Yuna asks if he would like to come by her house then. She made a bit too much for lunch. After hearing this, Touka is disappointed again and says that indeed, does he get to eat Yuna's home cooking? Not even he's had that. Now they're just rubbing it in. At that very moment, the barbecue that Touka put on the stove to drive away the devil started to smell strongly. Sion says, "Barbecue! Is that the smell of barbecue coming?" Sion went to the stove saying he loves meat and suddenly disappeared. Touka was shocked to see this. Immediately, Touka and Yuna run to him to find that Sion has actually fallen into the bamboo trap made by Touka for the devils. Seeing this, Touka says he's got to be kidding him, and Yuna shouts, "No!" Then Touka says there's no way the guy who saved the world and says that, yeah, he's dead. People in the neighborhood shouted, "How can this be?" Also says that without the legendary hero, they can't seal the gates of hell. One of them said that, "What a nightmare. It's the end of humanity." The other said that they should put Touka on trial before His Majesty. Touka shouts and says, "Now hold on a minute, it was an accident. Besides, he's the victim here. Sion was trespassing to steal food, but people in the neighborhood started throwing stones at him and told him to stop making excuses. He can atone for his life." After that, Touka said, "Let's think about this calmly for a moment," and also says that the legendary hero died falling into a trap. Who'd even believe that story? If a bunch of villagers came to him with that, he would bet they were the ones who did it. After listening to this, one said he is going to try to pin this on them, and the older one among them said, "No, I'm afraid he has a point," and said no one would believe he died like this. Another one said they could blame it on the devil, and the others said that then how do they explain how they survived? Another person said that, but what other choice do we have? Then Touka says, "Hold on, there's another option." In the next scene, it can be seen that everyone is burying the legendary hero. And then Touka said that now, as far as anyone knows, he's just missing, and they had no part in it. One of them said, "No part in it, his butt." The other man said that, "Guessed it figures that it takes a madman to off the legendary hero." Then Touka shouted, "What did he want him to do? All their asses are on the line here." They also say that they are just protecting the village. Someone standing behind a tree was listening to all these actions and words of theirs. The next morning, Touka woke up saying, "Man, I feel great this morning." Also, hiding the legendary hero's corpse must have been therapeutic, and he felt like a whole new man and looked at the mirror of the washroom and was shocked. Touka looked at the mirror and shouted, "What's going on? He looks exactly like the legendary hero." Added that, and on his worst day no less, thinks that he must be dreaming. And he went to Yuna's house. Yuna said, "Who could it be at this early hour?" And Yuna opened the door and saw Touka and shouted, "The legendary hero!" and asks Mr. Legendary Hero, "Did you come back to life?" Touka replies that, well, actually, and thinks that he actually looks exactly like him and thinks, damn it, why did he end up with that jerk's mug? Then said in shock, "Hang on, she's totally into him. That's it. At last he could," and says that he has a favor to ask her. Yuna says, "Will this serve his purpose, Mr. Legendary Hero?" Touka is happy looking at Yuna and says in his mind that the power of the legendary hero, the power of the world's savior. He also thinks that now he can put stockings on the luscious thighs of beautiful girls the world over. And Yuna thinks the legendary hero is looking at her with the most piercing gaze. He really is wonderful. Nothing like that stupid Touka, even though he smells a little rank, and shouts in her mind, "No, don't say that, Yuna. Even if he stinks, the legendary hero." Then Yuna shouts, "It stinks!" and added that Mr. Legendary Hero, "You reek to hell and back." Touka panicked and said, "Calm down, Yuna, what are you?" Then Touka fell and his eyeballs fell to the ground, and Touka was surprised to see this and said, "Huh?" Yuna attacks Touka with a broom, saying, "Monster!" Touka says, "No, he's Touka," and says that's how he got up. But Yuna asks him to prove that he's Touka. A voice came from Touka's farm, where Touka and Yuna arrived. There is the entry of Anri Haysworth, the necromancer, who turns Touka into Sion, the hero with magic. Touka asks why did she do that. Anri said that when she was traveling with Sion the hero, she promised Sion wants to use her power to bequeath his body to another, someone she believes can save the world. Anri also said that not only did he kill Sion, he nearly managed to get her too. In the next scene, they are seen in Belun, which is the largest city in the region. From here, they will prepare for their journey. During this journey, Touka is challenged by one of Sion's acquaintances and accused of impersonating the real Sion due to his inability to use Sion's holy sword. On the other side, Anri explains the situation to Sion's old teammate Kyle, who rescues Touka from the mob. Yuna wagers that Touka can prove himself by completing a quest to slay demons. Anri confirms that Touka lacks the spiritual power to use the sword or even stop Sion's body from continuing to rot. Kyle challenges Touka for the right to replace Touka's soul with his own and take over the role of the hero. At the beginning of the second episode, called The Legendary Hero Imposter, we see that Kyle says that in that case, if he slays him now, will he accept him then? Touka gets nervous after hearing this and says, "Slay him? He's a zombie already." Kyle says that there are two ways he can finish Touka. Touka says it doesn't make sense at all. He says to Anri that he is throwing in the towel, giving him the legendary hero's body. After that, Kyle claims he was joking. At night, Touka attempts to steal back his body from Anri's necklace so he can get his body back, and then he just gotta find a way to return to normal. But then he got distracted by seeing Anri's thighs and says that nothing makes thighs look their best like stockings. And as he was leaving, he noticed that he was coming to take his body, which he didn't do. After that, he sensed that someone was coming. He hid, and seeing that Kyle came to Anri and Yuna's room, and became witness of Kyle trying to kill him by stabbing the necklace. But because the necklace had a protection spell, Kyle couldn't do anything and ran. Meanwhile, Touka wondered why Kyle wanted to kill him. What will he do with the hero's body? He has to find out about it. And Yuna finds out that Touka has come over to their house and has put the stocking on Anri's thighs. And Touka gets beaten up by Yuna because of it. The following day, many people go to the devil hunt. Then Kyle asks Touka what happened to his face. Touka answered that so he snuck into Yuna's room and put stockings on her, but got caught. But after he did that, someone apparently tried to steal Anri's necklace. She thought it was cold, hence the beating. Then Kyle said that he thinks messing with a sleeping woman is reason enough for the beating, and asked whether he caught any sign of the necklace thief. Touka answers that, nah, he left right after the whole stocking thing. Kyle said that he would help him find the culprit once the hunt was over. Touka says, "Thank you very much," and nervously said to himself, "Help him find the culprit? He is the culprit, asshole." Touka thinks that still his behavior suggests that he didn't notice him last night. He'll probably target him next if he can't get at the necklace. The only question is when. At the very least, he won't attack while anyone's watching. If he wants the hero's body for himself, he won't want it to get out that he murdered him. So as long as he is never alone with him, he's safe. And if he explains things to Yuna and Anri after this hunt, he'll never get another chance at his head. He keeps an eye on the necklace too, just to be safe. Touka calls Anri to him and tells her to stick by his side. Anri agreed to it. After that, they are seen in front of the door of the devil's lair. Touka says that this is the devil's lair. Yuna says that she's suddenly scared. Belarco spearman. He'll like them to split up now. He intends to unmask that imposter hero. Touka says that the guy who goes off on his own always dies first at times like this. Then Kyle said that is not necessary. That's Twin Spear Belarco, who was said to have slain more than 100 devils in the battle 3 years ago. Touka says that 100? Seriously? That means he's gonna beat them. Then the devil attacks Belarco. Everyone started running away in fear, even Touka. While fighting demons, they're separated from Anri, so Kyle reveals he was jealous of Sion becoming the hero and tried to secretly assassinate him multiple times, hoping Anri would soul swap him. Eunice stops Kyle from killing Touka while Anri hears everything Kyle says. Kyle reveals that the necromancers are part demons, so if he takes Anri's crystal heart, he can soul swap himself into Sion. Anri admits that necromancers are humans born on the other side of Hell's Gate, causing mutations like her crystal heart. Touka decides that Anri is actually trustworthy, so he will do his best as a hero. Anri decides that if Touka saves the world, she will marry him. Touka lures Kyle into one of his traps, dropping him into the ocean. The quest reward doesn't cover the debts they incurred in buying equipment and food, so Touka decides they will travel to the royal capital to earn big money. Meanwhile, shady individuals decide to target Princess Margarita. Will Touka be able to live the life of the legendary hero and to beat the devil and to earn big money by going to the royal capital? Stay tuned for the next episode and do not forget to subscribe to my channel.